You just tuned it in.
Global and worldwide.
Hitting you on the one with no delay. Because it's the fighter's voice.
The fighter's voice.
With your fighting host, Richard Ortiz.
And the formidable co-host,
Mr. Cole Escovedo. Remember, every fighter has a voice.
Fresno, California, we're live here in Matt Production Studios. We got a great show for you today. Today's guest is the one and only, the crazy man himself that started as a super fan, started in the ring. He did whatever it took to make sure he was ringside at the fights, and that's now he's working for Top Rank, has the dream job, ladies and gentlemen, and that's Frank Stea. Like stay away. Frank Stea. Stea, right?
That's it. You got it, Rich. Not too many people pronounce the last name properly or correctly, but you know you get used to it after all these years. They'll hit it with Stee. They'll say Stea.
Estrella.
You hear it so many times. It's like I got four different names, but it's all good.
It's all good, man. Hey, let's talk about everything because, I mean, you had a boxing career. You were in the amateurs from the age of 15 to, I believe, 19. You had 23 total fights, man. I mean, so what got you in the sweet science, man? What made you fall in love with boxing?
Well, I mean, I don't like to boast about the few amateur fights that I've had because I was just a kid in Philly, South Philly, and you go into a gym. And once you cross the rope, it was actually first one. It was Pashunk Gym in South Philly. You cross the rope, then you gotta get in the ring. You gotta train. You gotta spar, and that's where it started. And I was, a tough little scrappy kid growing up in South Philly, and just got into boxing. I much preferred, and that's probably why I didn't take it any further than the armed forces. I much preferred being on the outside of the ring, watching the real professionals do their thing.
No, you know what? And I bet you appreciate it a little more too, because I mean that sport's not for everybody, man. We're talking about knuckle problems. We're talking about stamina, getting hit, the headgear. Some people they can't they can't stand the headgear, much less their opponent, or get hit in the head once they're in the corner. So tell us about your experience once you were in there, and how when you finally said, you know what, it's not for me. I'm going to watch it from the outside. But growing up, you fell in love with it, and you said Philly. Was that because of the Rocky movies? What's going on, man?
I mean, yeah, the most famous fighter to ever come out of Philadelphia is, the character Rocky. I hate to say it. He's not the greatest fighter, but he's the most famous fighter that has come out of Philadelphia, even though Sylvester Stallone, I don't know where he was born originally, but that character really had put Philly on the map, even though Philly had was prominent for boxing for so many years. That, of course, you watch. I mean, Rocky. My mom had an extra role in the first Rocky.
Oh, really? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, she was just. Well, I don't know. I mean, I can see her and stuff like that. It was in the beginning, I guess, where they were singing around the fire or whatever. And
Take It Back.
So, yeah. So no. IMDb profile for my mother. So, but she was in it, and then obviously Rocky. I think the first one that really hit, even though I love all the Rocky movies, I think might have been Rocky 3. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, so Hulk Hogan was in there.
Oh yeah.
Mr. T, and
Absolutely.
Then obviously Rocky 4, which I think is the best Rocky of them all. I mean come on. So yeah, being in Philly, man, you kind of gotta love boxing, and I think a lot of them, a lot of people, if you're in my situation, a lot of us box, and just like we play basketball, we play pickup. I mean, there's a whole lot different, competition there. You're not getting punched in the stomach, you're not getting punched in the face, you're not catching a headbutt here and there, and elbows, all that stuff. It's not a fight.
So besides Rocky, Frank, besides Rocky, what professional fighter really got your juices flowing, man?
Well, I can't, I don't want to come on here and lie and say, I've been a lifelong boxing fan, because I haven't. It's, as a kid, a lot of Mike Tyson fights on the tube. I don't think, if you're around my age growing up, Mike Tyson was a big deal in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s. So
Right.
when he fought, everybody really stopped what they're doing and watched Mike Tyson. And then Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Absolutely.
And then those were the ones I remember, like as a small child watching with my uncles. And then later on, I mean, my favorite fighter is Bernard Hopkins.
B-Hop.
Philly roots. B-Hop, of course. Probably greatest middleweight. Probably one of the greatest, top 5, top 10 greatest fighters of all
Absolutely. Very smart fighter.
Guys like Lennox Lewis and Prince Nassim,
Yeah.
they kind of brought my interest back because Lennox had a personality. He was the British Olympic gold medalist, brash talking. There was a lot of times you wanted to see him get beat, and he was so good that eventually you just respected him. You're like, yo, this guy came over here and he beat all our guys.
He did.
became
Cleaned
a
house.
star. And from where I wanted to see him get beat, I was like, I fucking love this guy.
All of
I'm
them
sorry,
call.
can I curse? I hope I didn't just drop a bomb. I didn't know.
No, listen. This is Frank's show tonight. Stea.
Okay.
It's the Stea
All right.
show, so stay awake and stay whatever you want. It's all you, Frank.
It is, and you know what? I just want to I got to give a shout out to my man Jorge Capitio and Antonio DeMarco.
There you go.
Welcome back right now. They fought their ass off tonight. I'm in the bubble. I'm in the top ranked bubble. We got a show tonight. Antonio DeMarco just lost a disputable decision to Giovanni Santillan in the opener of tonight's ESPN show. And I apologize. I just got thrown off for a minute, but Antonio just walked by. It was a hell of a fight, and I know many people thought he deserved the fight. I'll keep my opinion quiet for the minute.
No. Hey, listen. This is the fighter's voice, brother. This is the only voice that matters. There's no handcuffs here. There's no, bylaws here. This is the Frank show tonight. I want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Speak the truth here, man. Because if you start telling lies, I got to bring a bunch of Band-Aids, and I don't have time for all that shit.
Well, Rich, you told me, you said, listen, bring the A game. And I thought, you know what? I'm a multitasker. I do everything.
That's
There's
right.
not a job in this company that I can't do. So when you invited me to come on the Fighter's Voice, bro, I was like, yo, I'm my man, Rich Ortiz. I'm here. Definitely wanted to talk some boxing with you. And I mean, we're here right now, but I'm at work. At the same time, I'm doing this with you, kicking it with you. We're working, bro. We got a show literally. We got fighters getting ready to enter the ring again.
Absolutely.
And I'm on lockdown, bro. I don't know how many people that are listening have been in prison, but it's like that. But the great thing about this prison is I think you and I, Rich, got a common love in boxing. That's what I get to do. I get to do what I love, and we're here. But going back to it, Lennox Lewis, Prince Nassim, their characters that brought me into it. Me being like a wrestling fan,
Right.
I love the characters in boxing.
Especially their sound bites, man. Their sound bites, Frank, were just awesome. After the interviews, I wanted to hear Nassim Ahmed speak.
And that's what draws guys to it. That's why I'm real big on guys with character and personality. I respect the fighters. I respect the extremely talented, unbeatable guys that are out there. But if they don't have that voice box or they don't have that natural charisma when they're in the ring, and they don't just captivate the audience, it's hard to get by that. But I'm blessed, in many ways. Like, Rich, you wouldn't be in boxing if you weren't a character. I get a kick out of you. I mean, I think as a reporter and an on-air personality, I think you're amazing, but you're a character, and that's what I love about it. That's why I always check out. I'm an avid subscriber and frequent visitor to the Fighter's Voice YouTube channel.
Well, I appreciate that, my man.
I give a shout out to that.
Thank you.
I just listened to Mikey Garcia. I was chilling in my room. I had the Apple TV on my hotel room TV, and I popped on the Mikey Garcia. But I love the variety of guests, and and I appreciate you, Rich, and I'm telling you this: you're making your own way, bro. You're your own boss in this business, And everybody that I know that knows you has nothing but the utmost respect. And the best thing is you're charismatic, you're energetic, and I'm a viewer. So anytime you got something to promote, you can always count on me to help get it out there to the couple people that I know has shared the same type of interest that I share. And anytime you want my dumb ass on here to talk some shit, by all means, bro. I'm honored.
Hey, man, I appreciate those words. Believe me, I'm flattered. I appreciate that, man. And, every time I see you, man, and you have that certain look on you, it's like you want to talk, but you're working, you're having fun, and we always make time for each other, man. And I'll always make time. Like I told you, this is one of many that you're going to be featured here on The Fighter's Voice, man. I mean, who does it better right now? You're letting the audience, the viewers, the listeners, and the crowd stay up to par with tonight's event going on at Top Rank Boxing. You're multitasking. You do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life, and you're doing it right now, Frank.
No, it is, and I'm going to probably take. Right now, I'm sitting in one of the lobbies in the bubble, right outside of where the fights are taking place. In a couple minutes, I'm going to go, and I'm gonna, maybe you'll hear in the background. I'm gonna go check out tonight's main event. Fighter Josh Greer.
Hey, did you bring that? Hey, did you bring that pillow?
Yeah, he's got the pillow.
Yes, sir. Night. Mimi time.
He's got a tough competitor in front of him.
Yeah.
This is one more step for him to get to a world title. And when we were talking about characters, guys like Prince Nassim, Josh Greer. Tonight, I hope a lot of boxing fans that have ESPN on right now. Josh Greer is a character. You get a microphone.
Yep.
He's somebody I want to hear with you, Rich. We're going to get that after he wins tonight. We're going to get that set up. We'll get Josh on here. I think you
Sounds
and him
good.
will hit it off real good. He's a good shit talker, but he's also someone that you just want to be around and hang out. So tonight he's going to do his thing against Michael Plania. If you're listening to us live, or just if you're listening to us right now and you got ESPN, multitask. Rich and I are both doing it, so
Make it
no
happen.
reason that the listeners can't.
Exactly, man. The best of both worlds, man. I got to ask you this. This question just came in right now. The minute we mentioned Philadelphia, this question's coming in from Nancy Martinez. Hey, she used to be a manager at Pete Sports Shop back in Madera, California. Big plug. Did you? Of course you did, but she wants to know, what was it like running up the steps in Philadelphia?
You know what? I've never ran up the steps. I've walked them. I walked up them.
There you go.
And I've walked up the steps. George, I walked up the steps before, and I've done it many times. It's pretty cool. The last time we did a show in Philly, I got to go back home.
Yeah.
And I had to take a couple fighters up to the steps and show it to them, and walked up them steps many times. But no, I don't know. I think I was a little too shy, or I don't know. I wasn't confident in myself to go up and do my best Rocky impression running up those art museum steps.
Well, maybe a couple Modelos will loosen you up sometime, and we'll run those steps together sometime.
Yeah, let's you gotta meet up in Philly, Rich. We'll do it. We'll do that.
Speaking of Philly, man, one question just came in too. What's the best food to eat there? If you had $20, where do you eat in Philly?
In Philly?
Yeah.
Well,
best sandwich, pizza, or hot dog?
Philly's known for cheesesteaks, right? And me being born and raised in Philly, it's not something Grandma made for Sunday dinners or cheesesteaks. It's like a tourist food. So yeah, I love cheesesteaks.
There you go.
I'm not big. There's Pat's, Geno's, Tony Luke's. I know since I've been gone, a couple other big steak places have emerged. But I like the pizza joints, like the pizza joints in the hood that make, some people call them grinders.
Grinders? Well, we got to go down and grind some.
I appreciate it. If you're from that, and you have $20, buy a soft pretzel, get yourself a cheesesteak, especially if you never had any. But me, I say go into the hood and find one of them corner Chinese food restaurants.
Oh, okay.
It's Chinese food before. I mean, if you never had really good Chinese food before, I guarantee the spots in the hood, go unhealthy.
Well, most good
Fire
food
as fuck, bro.
is unhealthy, but I want to talk to you about something, Frank, that is healthy. Talk to us about your gear apparel that you had, and you were getting ready to launch it, and then all of a sudden it made a turn. What was it called?
Well, you know what? So I'm in a situation. I went to a lot of fights. I went to a lot of fights when I first moved to Vegas, and it's a lot of people know. Boxing fan knows tickets to fights are expensive. Don't matter if it's a club show, it's a big show. It's a lot of money, you know. And I'm a father. You know, right now I got 3 children at home waiting for me 15 minutes away. I'm locked in this bubble for a couple weeks before I'll have Father's Day off. But, you know, you can't afford it. So my thing is, you know, I'm a hustler. I think a lot of people in boxing have that hustler's mentality, have that hustler's experience. And I said to myself, you know what, I got to think of a way to, you know, the guys wearing the credentials. I didn't know what the credentials were. I got to get one of them passes, like these guys around ringside. I got to do that. So I thought of ways to do that. So I had a little bit of money that I had made from the Army, and you know, a little bit of savings put away. And I was like, you know what, I want to try do a clothing brand, a clothing line. Like I think MMA had Tap Out,
Right, first came out,
and a couple others. And I was like, you know what, boxing needs something like that. So I had this group. I worked at Best Buy. And I was a
plug for Best Buy,
and manager there. I'm sorry?
I said, let's give Best Buy a plug. They'll come aboard as a sponsor.
Oh yeah, maybe. So a couple friends of mine that were in there, we had this you know crew. We liked MMA, we liked boxing, and we called ourselves ATG, which in boxing we refer to that as all time great. So we were like the ATG
I like
crew.
that.
So we tried to come out with a clothing line called ATG, All Time Great, and didn't really have, you know, the money to blow. And I always thought that's what you had to do. You just had to spend money to go out there and get your name out there. And
right.
I mean, I might have I dumped thousands and thousands to some others. Might not be much to them, but it was a lot to me at the time.
That's a lot of money, man.
You know, I got out there, and you know, obviously, me being a fashion designer, that wasn't in the plans. And what worked out was out of that whole bad investment is I got to meet some people in combat sports. I got to meet some people in boxing. Got to meet some people in MMA shows.
Did you have any fighters wearing your gear during that time? During that run, Frank, was anybody rocking your gear?
Yeah, you know what? I had not the most known people, but I had at the time he was like an undefeated welterweight prospect. His name was Saeed El Harak. He's based out of Las Vegas.
Right.
And after him, he was the first boxer. Sponsored him, paid him a few $100s to wear some of the clothes, to wear the shirt. And then there was, at the time, he was an amateur. He was an amateur MMA fighter named Chris Holdsworth. And he was fighting for Tough Enough. And this guy actually ended up winning the UFC's Ultimate Fighter one season. And then he had to retire. He was fought undefeated, went undefeated. He had to retire because of concussions. So that's basically there. And I had a couple like other athletes. Like there was like I remember a whole paintball team, a semi-pro paintball team.
Well, you know what? No better time, Frank, to make a second run. I tell you what, you make a couple of these shirts, man. Drop them off here at the Fighter's Voice. We'll hand them out to some of the callers, some of the winners. Make sure that gear gets out there. We'll rock it. Yours truly a rocket, man. I mean, I always try to, you know, hey, no dream is too small, or I don't even like to call it dead. It's just there, hanging on, getting ready to explode, man. We'll make that happen soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Rich. It wasn't really a dream. It was just, you know, it was the hustle, man, trying to just hustle.
Well, speaking of hustle, Frank.
Figure out ways.
No. Go ahead. Finish up, man. Finish up ways. I know where you're going with this because I read the bio. I mean, you wanted your hustle on. You wanted to sit ringside. Talk to us about the hustle with the radio show. What was the name of the show? And what was the first fight you walked in with your head up instead of your head down, as if to say, man, I just snuck in here. But with your head up saying, I got me a full-fledged credential. I'm working tonight.
Well, I mean, I would like to say it was that I had gotten what everybody's calling podcasts now. Back in the day, it was just internet radio. It was blogtalkradio.com, and I had went on an internet radio show or a podcast, whatever I'll call it, podcast.
Okay.
And it was hosted by Charlie Zelenoff. He's the guy on the internet that fights Wilder, Floyd Sr., and a bunch of other guys.
Okay.
He has a record of an underground record of like 360-0.
Oh, well, his own.
You aware? You know.
Yeah, the cat that I was one. He cheap shots people.
I mean, you said that, I didn't. I'm Charlie.
Okay, well, I mean, no, I don't know him personally, but I was just watching him last night. If I put my gloves on, I'm getting within 6 feet, distance. Make sure my mouthpiece is on, and we're ready to rock and roll. But if I'm really getting my stuff laced up, and a dude takes a crack, it's a different type of fight.
So yeah, no, I know he definitely irritates a lot of people. I'll give him that.
He has heart. He has some skill set in him, though. I've watched him. He doesn't back down. He was actually talking smack last night to a heavyweight.
Well, I don't want to, because guess what? People, the thing is his following is really friggin' crazy. So if I sit here and I really give it an honest opinion, they'll get back to him. Actually, I don't care. Him and I, we butt heads. But he, literally, Rich, he's one of the reasons that I kind of like, especially like on social media, MySpace, around that time, like MySpace.
Oh my gosh, MySpace?
Facebook.
With your pager?
Yeah, and dealing with him, exactly.
Okay.
Dealing with him, I would get, because I played along with a lot of his stuff. I would get, I mean, if you could Google Frank Stea and Charlie Zelenoff and kind of get a little bit of our history together.
Stea, yep.
And I would get death threats. I would get, everything, because I was associated with them. And where you would go like, oh my God, this is out of control. I fucking loved it, bro. I was like, wow, this is fucking great.
Your juices were flowing.
People would talk about my family. They would put me in. They would make like Photoshop things with being compromising positions, stuff like that. I fucking loved it.
We gotta have that dude. We gotta have him call in, Frank.
I don't think I can get him to do anything anymore. I mean, honestly, I love the guy, but for my liking, he's out of it.
Yeah,
he really is.
He's a little different right now. I
can't have a normal conversation. I used to be able to have a normal conversation with him, but not anymore, man. I think it's them 357 fights. Hey, man,
they all added up, and he's undefeated. He has it. But you know what? He gets to call timeout in the middle of a boxing match.
Well, that's the thing. It's 30 second, 60 second rules. 60 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is.
Actually, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong. The rules are the clock keeps going as long as I'm winning.
That's it. There you go. As soon as you fight back, it stops.
It stops. It stops. But one thing, Frank. No, go ahead, my man.
No, you're good. I'm done, bro.
One thing that doesn't stop is this relationship, this soap opera relationship, this love and hate business relationship. And I need your take on this. What's going on with King Ryan and Oscar De La Hoya?
I noticed that. This isn't the first time. He had a little rift with them. He had a little rift with them last year, and it ended up in him getting a brand new contract. And now, I don't know. I don't know if I can sympathize, because the things that are going on right now, he's not necessarily, with the coronavirus or global pandemic, what you call it. It's not a good time for boxing right now, unless you're with Top Rank. If you're not with Top Rank, you're not fighting right now. I know some other promoters are getting ready to move, but we're setting it off. And Ryan's a little, I think, too anxious.
Social media get the best of you sometimes.
Yeah, and the thing is I'm I'm not going to deny the kid's not a hell of a talent. I mean,
Absolutely.
What's he? 3 million Instagram followers or more? I don't know.
He gets a paycheck. He gets a paycheck from that, and he also turned down $200K for his next fight.
So, I think the kid can do himself a favor and quit boxing and do whatever it is he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you don't need to bow, but I don't think he needs to box anymore.
This is my whole thing. No, well, I mean, he has skill set, but right now, fights are hard to come by. Like you said, Top Rank's the only one blowing up right now, and you're going to turn down $200,000 first of all to have a fight. Garnelo hasn't even announced his fight yet. Bud Crawford hasn't even announced his fight yet, and we're going to get into that. But the young lad is turning down $200K. But you know what? It's a blessing in disguise for Virgil Ortiz Jr. because congratulations to Virgil. I believe now all the attention and the showcase is going to go to Virgil Ortiz Jr. Boxing out of Robert Garcia's boxing academy. So, you know, it's somebody's going to prosper from that.
No, and that's what I mean. I agree. There's, you know, at this stage. I mean, for instance, I'm going to use. I'm sorry, I keep promoting Top Rank here, but
you don't. You're probably not watching live right now, but it's okay. You can promote Top Rank all you want. Okay, I'm actually holding up a shirt that I'm wearing Top Rank, and now I'm holding it up for the camera, so it's okay, man.
All right, dope. So the thing is in this stage, we're a lot of fighters that are going to be on these upcoming shows, and a couple the 2 shows we had last week, and then even this evening show. There's fighters that necessarily and normally wouldn't have been on this card that are getting opportunities. The thing is that they're ready. They're fighters that are they're you know what it is. Fighters shouldn't need to get ready. They should be ready.
Absolutely.
And the fighters that are fighting on our cards, they're ready. And under the circumstances, whether the purses aren't, you know, whatever's rumored that the purses aren't as good as they normally would be, or you know, where there's a lot of restrictions of being in this bubble. You got to test. I mean, it's crazy. Don't get me wrong, it's crazy, and I feel for a lot of these guys that it's not hitting them. I mean, it's hitting them a little hard. But then again, you got to remind them. You got to say, hey, listen, you're a fighter. You said you're going to be ready for whatever. You know, I know this isn't like it's before, but the alternative is you not fighting and you not making money.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I mean, you could sit home another couple months until things start to get back to normal a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you want to fight, you want to make some money, you want to get your name out there, you want to be on national TV to where people are just clamoring. They want friggin' sports, man. They want, you know, and if you're a fight fan, you want to see fights.
And these fighters, they're itching to get out there.
This is perfect for you. Exactly. So we're doing it right now, and if you're ready and you're not a bullshitter, you know, just and obviously you can see the type of fighters that are on here. But if you're ready and you're ready for the big time, you're ready to fight a 50-50 fight, get in it. I don't think Ryan Garcia, and I like the kid personally. I like the kid. I don't think Ryan Garcia is that kind of fighter. I think he's all business, and there's nothing wrong with him being all business. But you know, you gotta. It's tough to say. You gotta really let your nuts hang.
Not only that. I mean, it's opportunity, my man. Even if we didn't have this coronavirus, I mean, that's opportunity. I mean, you have a fan set, you have a fan base, and they're there. They're intrigued. They're waiting for you to perform. And nothing against the kid. I'm a King Rhino Ryan Garcia fan. I'm waiting for him to get back into that ring. But whatever difference he's having with Oscar De La Hoya, you know, it's something to do with numbers. I'm gonna move on from that because I'm gonna tell you 3 guys that are ready, and I'm talking about Andy Altibodo and Vincent's. He's ready. I'll tell you another one is Simplify. He is ready. My man Jamal Herring. He is ready to go. And also this Thursday, the first youngest ever, Gabriel Flores Jr. He's ready, and you're gonna see him being showcased this Thursday. Give us your feedback on young Flores.
You know what? The crazy thing is, literally 15 minutes before we started doing this show, Rich, I was with Gabe Sr. and Gabe Jr. They're here. They're in the bubble. They're getting ready for this Thursday. they were training. They went to the training, one of the training centers we have here in the bubble. They trained. ESPN filmed them training during the live telecast.
Right.
So I was just with them. The kid's ready. I think, it's hard for me to say, like, he's the best prospect, but he's arguably the best prospect. Whatever my thoughts are, I think the kid is going to be a massive superstar. I think this year, even with the pandemic going on, I think he's going to have a big year. He's going to start, obviously it started on the Fury Wilder undercard in February, but I think it's going to really start this Thursday, and he's going to close out the year strong. And 2021, he's going to be ready. He's going to be in talks. I know he knows he's ready. His dad knows he's ready. His management knows he's ready. But, it's someone like him. He's so young. He's so young. He's got so much, experience right now. Me personally, I know he's ready. I think, again, I like all these guys out there. And if I say he's the number one prospect out there, they're going to be like, hey, what about me?
Right.
Maybe I got a bunch of number one prospects.
That's okay.
But the kid really has it. The kid really, really has it. And 2021, you're going to be, we're all going to be talking about him challenging whoever the world champions are at 130 or 130. But I know they want to campaign, win a title at 130, and I think 2021, we could very well see that.
Well, I'll tell you what, after the show later on today, I'm going to send you a link because Flores Sr. was on the show, I want to say about maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, man. It's
I saw that one.
He let it go, man. And, hey, he's very confident. So he's right there with you. Now, I got to ask you this, man, because this question that came in. What's it like working hand in hand with one of the best heavyweights ever to enter the ring? And like I said, there's only one Tyson Fury.
It's great. Tyson is I can consider a friend. It's hard to say you have friends in this business, especially in boxing.
Right.
But he's really like a good guy. Like, yeah, obviously you see on TV and with everybody, all the people that inspire him. He's really that guy. He's not. I'm sure he has his moments. We all do. But the Tyson that he gives us on the camera is the Tyson. He's the same Tyson off camera. And to get to work with him when he signed with Top Rank, it was just awesome. I had already known him when I was doing, going back to ATG Radio. When I was doing ATG Radio, he was a guest a few times on there, and we kept in touch, and we had never met, but we always chatted like we knew each other. And then I worked his first camp with when he fought Tom Schwartz last year. It was almost June of last year.
Is that the cut?
I don't know.
Is that the cut?
No, that was out of Waleed.
Oh, okay, yeah. This was one where he gave him a boxing lesson. Yeah.
I worked that was my first camp with him. I worked with him. I helped him with everything. He trusted me. Then after that camp, Top Rank trusted me. I worked with him again for Ottawa, which this a lot of people don't know. I've about Tyson Fury. He's one of the hardest workers. And to go back to me, I've spent a couple camps with Floyd Mayweather, and he's he's hands down the hardest worker I've ever seen, like live. And I've been in a lot of camps, but I don't think that there's ever been anybody that worked harder until I seen Tyson. And then when I seen Tyson do it, you got to remember he's 6'9". He's 260, 270 pounds.
Very elusive, very agile.
And I'm telling you, this guy works his ass off from the moment he trains until he finishes, and then he's working again. So if you guys didn't like the Otto Wallen performance, the one thing I could say, he didn't really have the longest camp, but those few weeks that he did have a camp in Vegas, he bust his ass. It was 4 weeks, and he worked his ass every day. May not have been enough, and there may have been a lot of distractions in that fight where he got cut. he worked his ass off. And again, besides Floyd Mayweather, and I put him up there right next to Floyd Mayweather. You know, maybe in one more camp that I spend with him, he's going to surpass Floyd Mayweather. But I'll tell you one thing: one of the most trying and exhausting things being in the boxing business was this last Tyson Fury camp when before he dethroned Deontay Wilder for the WBC heavyweight championship. So it was grueling, I know, for him, for the whole team, and especially myself. I mean, once it was over, I wasn't even I was excited, and I think that was the last bit of energy that I had because it was Christmas up until, when was the fight? February?
Yeah, 22nd, I think.
15th?
No, was it?
22nd, February 22nd. Yeah. So I was with him from the day after Christmas, December 26th, until the fight in February. So when that was over, I was excited. I jumped for joy, and then once we were in the dressing room, I laid back on the wall. I sat on the floor, had my back on the wall, and just collapsed. Just I was okay, but it was just like, oh, it's over. Thank God. And even saying the next day, I was like, I don't think I could ever do that again. Until I talked to Tyson. Until I spoke with Tyson Fury again. You know, you talk to him and you're like, you know what? You know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime fighter. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And, you know, I don't think he needs me, but he makes me feel like he needs me there. So I would never turn my back on this guy. Like I said, we've become friends over this past year. We're like good friends over this past year. And, you know, he's the best, bro. Besides Canelo, I mean, you put him up there with Canelo, Terrence Crawford, Lomachenko, as some of the best, as the best fighters.
Well, he proved it, and he continues to prove it. He's continued to prove everything.
He put the heavyweight division back on track.
He made the heavyweight division fun again. He gave everybody the American dream all over again. And you know what? He said it best. There's only one Tyson Fury. He's having a blast. He's having a good time. And to overcome, if you hear his testimony, what he's been through and where he's at now, I mean, class act, and sky's the limit for him. Listen, I got to ask you this real quick. And you can just touch on it a little bit. What's your whole take? And let me just ask you this. Will we see Kaepernick play in the NFL again?
You know what? I think any team, especially with what's going on, it would be great PR because you know what, the guy stand whatever a lot of people criticize him for.
Yeah.
With everything's going on, when he kneeled down, he was standing for what I believe is right. You know, I believe. You know, a lot of people thought it was like, oh, it's this and that, but you know, he stood up for something, and just because, and you know, when I'm a veteran in the United States Army, and I'll if I'm in uniform, I'll salute when the flag's raised. You know, depending on the situation, you know, I'll kneel, but he wasn't doing anything malicious.
No.
So. I think he, in a way, he's a generational cat. You know,
yeah.
I know he played in a Super Bowl. They didn't win the 49ers, but at one point he was like the best quarterback in the league. And it all went downhill, but he hasn't played in 4 years, Rich. You know, and I'm not the biggest football fan. I'm not going to lie to be. If I was an owner and I had a rebuilding team, I would pick him up. I would see what he has. If I'm a contender, if I have a great offense, a great defense, if my entire team is solid, then I don't think I take a chance with Colin Kaepernick as a player. But if you're on a rebuilding team and you want to get some publicity for your team, then I say you sign Colin Kaepernick and give him a chance. I think he definitely deserves a chance to play to see if he has it. But again, if you look at reality, if you look at skills, those 4 years could have, you know, not have been kind to him when it comes to getting back on the football field.
Well, I mean, you said it best. I just want to see the opportunity given. And the rest is up to him. We can't predict. He can be in tip-top shape, and we've seen quarterbacks come into the NFL, and they've been a flop. They've been in tip-top shape. They know their plays. It's the NFL, man. I mean, it's professional football league, you know, and I just want to see the man with that opportunity. That's how I feel about that. There's two topics I want to cover before I let you go. Real quick, man. How close are we to watching Crawford and Manny Pacquiao enter the ring together?
You know, Bob, when you read what Bob Arum says, like he says, we're discussing it. I'm not always privy to that information. You know, so sometimes when I get Top Rank news, I'm reading it just like you, Rich, just like the fans, just like anybody. Bob Arum's unfiltered. When he tells you something, he's in his late 80s, so he's definitely unfiltered. He doesn't really have to lie. He's not the boxing promoter he was 30 years ago.
He can do whatever he wants, man.
He says them. So when he says something, he may not even be supposed to say it. You know, maybe he's not. You don't want that. You don't want that news to get out there right there. But if you ask Bob Arum if Crawford and Pacquiao is about to happen, he goes, yeah, it could potentially happen. And I love that fight. I think Terrence Crawford, I think he's the best fighter in the world right now, pound for pound. A lot of people criticize him because of his opposition, but unfortunately, who he's fought is the best available opposition to take the fight under whatever circumstance there was. And I would love to see him fight Pacquiao. And a lot of people think, Pacquiao fighting Crawford, it's going to be a big mismatch. Crawford will be too much for him. But I don't. I think Pacquiao is competitive with anybody at welterweight, anybody at 147, whether it be Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, whoever. And when I mean capable of beating any of those guys. So Absolutely. No, it's to me, I would slightly favor Crawford, but I have to disagree with all those that are going to say Crawford's just going to run through Manny, because regardless, Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest fighters ever, bro. Ever. He may not be with Top Rank at the moment or anymore, but he's still one of the greatest fighters ever. And right now, he's still one of the best welterweights in the entire world.
Very, very well said. Me personally, I would love to see the Senator share the ring with Team Garcia, Mikey Garcia. I would love to see that fight happen at AT&T Stadium. That's my preference, anyways. I would like to see Crawford against, everybody wants to see him against Spence, and then maybe down the line in the future, I'd like to see him and Jose Ramirez share that as Jose moves up to 147s. Now,
let's fucking get it, Rich. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Our next and our last topic, we're going to have Regis Prograis join us, and we're going to talk together about him and Maurice Hooker. They had an agreement they had a catch weight at 143. Maurice Hooker, on an interview, he said, I'm not moving up to 147. That's all rumor. I'm saying at 140, but yet now he's going to 147. Go ahead and make that call and put that speaker on, and go ahead and just hand it to me real quick.
All right,
see if he joins us. It's not going through? Okay, put the speaker on there. There you go. We'll see if my man answers it right now. He'll join us right now. Regis.
Hello.
Regis, how we doing, my man?
What's up, bro? What's up with him?
Hey, man, welcome to the Fighter's Voice. We have Top Rank's own Frank Stea.
Okay, that's what's up. What's up?
What's up, Regis? How you doing, James? Hope you're good, man. Looking forward to you getting back in there, doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, man, we all waiting, man. Everybody waiting right now, so, trying to figure it out.
Regis, what's your whole take on it? Because you guys had an agreement to a catch weight. I believe it was 143. In a recent interview, Maurice Hooker said he was not going up to 147s, that it was all rumor, and then yet he wants to have you move up to 147s. His camp had more than enough time to make the adjustment. And all due respect, what's your whole take on that after you guys had an agreement?
I mean, I think it's a lot of bullshit, I think maybe we can't make the weight, maybe, the whole priority. He probably wasn't training, that's, and that's wait, now he can't come back down. That's kind of what I think. That's not my take on it.
hearing that, and I know you were back in the gym, you were preparing yourself for that fight. Even off the air, me and Frank, we agreed that you're to be reckoned with at 140. You're preparing yourself. How big of a disappointment is that to not only yourself but the camp? And I mean, there's a contract there. We got bills to pay.
Right, exactly. He messing up. He messing up not only his money, he messing up my money also at the same time. So I don't know what's up with him, bro. But yeah, it's definitely a disappointment because okay, turn it down. Yeah, definitely a disappointment. Because like I said, I've been training. I've been training the whole time, and I sparred yesterday, and I mean, and just trying to stay in shape and stuff like that. Even though I didn't have no. I try to stay disciplined, running, and just doing everything that I need to do. And now it come to find out, he can't make the weight. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely a disappointment, but we'll figure it out.
Well, like I told you, man, stay in shape and stay ready because you're going to get that phone call. Frank, listening to this, man, and being with Top Rank, man, I know you guys got some strong 140s there, man. I mean, I wish you were, once again the matchmaker, and we can get my man Regis back in the ring. What's your take on that, Frank? Well, I think Frank's multitasking. Regis, so you're not just going to sit back and wait around. You're ready to go, and then you hear.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
And then
I'm ready to go. I'm not sitting around.
And then you hear somebody like Ryan Garcia who turns down a fight for $200K. I'm not getting into personal on what you make, but when you hear a fighter turn down a fight, and yet you're willing to fight. What goes through your mindset, man?
Then he turned the fight down for $200,000. Well, I guess maybe it was the wrong fight for him or whatever. But yeah, it's not even for me. It's not even just about that, man. It's not even just about of course, financially, everybody want to get paid and stuff like that. It still is our job and stuff. But it's just like, I want to get back in the ring. I love doing what I do. I'm going to train no matter what. No matter if I fight or not, I'm still going to be training, no matter what. But when you fight, it gets you back in that mode again. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to just get back in that fight mode and back in a training camp. When you're in training camp, it takes you to a place that most people can't understand, So I miss that feeling. I miss being in training camp. I miss having somebody, knowing that I'm going to fight somebody, So that's kind of what I'm ready to do.
Frank, are you still with us, Frank? I think Frank may be multitasking like he is. But, Regis, I mean, some of the top 140s out there, even if they don't have a belt, who's your preference, man? I mean, because, you had somebody lined up already. It fell through, and, you got to be vocal now. You already know that. A quiet mouth doesn't get fed. What 140-pounder out there do you want to share the ring with?
Yeah, I want a belt, man. I want to be a champion again. I was a world champion before. A year ago I was a world champion. I definitely want to be a world champion again. So of course, we got Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. Those two are, I definitely have to get a Josh Taylor rematch. I don't think it'll come at 140. I think that fight will come at 147 one day. Probably in the future, maybe years down the line, me and Josh Taylor will fight again. But of course, Ramirez is a champion. I think Ramirez wants to fight me. I want to fight him. So, I think, that was always a fight I called out for years that I want that fight also, So, either one, both of them, but whoever's the champion at the time, boxing is a crazy sport to 1 minute, you'll have a champion that has the belts, and the next minute they won't have the belt. So, yeah, I want either one of them.
Well, I believe the fans also want that one too. For you and Jose to share that ring together, the fans would explode. And also the fans want to see that rematch. A lot of them, I personally had that fight a draw with you and Josh Taylor. Here's your time. Here's your platform, Regis. Maurice Hooker, I'm going to send this to him. What's your words to him? What's your comment to him as if to say, come on, man, let's make this fight happen?
Listen, man, I said everything I wanted to say. You can check out my YouTube channel. I said the whole 9. I was on 10 with it. Now I'm kind of calm about it. Now I got everything out already, bro. I just, if he can't make the weight, then I guess move on. I talked to him on, I DM'd him. He DM'd me, and we talked in on Instagram. So he was like, he at 147. So, oh well, you know what I'm supposed to do. I want a belt. I want to be a champion again at 140. So that's my goal, is to be a champion at 140. He look like he wants to be at one. He wants to go up to 147 right now. So hey, if we can't agree, then oh well, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? We just do our own thing for now, and then we'll see each other hopefully down the line at 147. But that's not my goal right now. My goal is to be a champion again at 140 first. And you know, and like I said, you know, I'm gonna keep saying this. You know, it's not about the weight right now. It's about I'm not looking at the weight of this fight. It's about the next fight. And in boxing, people know once you go up a certain weight, it's hard to come back down.
Yes, it is.
And I don't want my body, you know, that's the thing. You don't want your body to get adjusted at a higher weight, and then you can't come back down. You won't have another option. I think that's what happened to him. He went up too high. He's too big right now, and he can't come back down. That's just the whole thing. He cannot come back down. Me, on the other hand, I can. I don't go up that high. I don't fucking, you know, I do eat a lot. I do have sometimes I do have an eating problem. But at the same time, I bust my ass and I work out. And, you know, I'm not gonna fucking, you know, I'm not gonna get too heavy so I can't come back down. So, like I said, man, I said everything I had to say. And I'm not, at first I was all pissed off about it last week, but now I'm calm. You know, I have different moves and stuff, man. I have different move swings, and right now I'm just, you know, I'm on some chill shit right now. I'm chilling, and I ain't got no bad words from him, bro. If he, you know, if he make it, he make it. Then we fight. If he don't, he don't. Oh well, we go our separate ways.
Hey, that's mutual respect, and that's good sportsmanship, man. Boxing can always use that attitude that you have, Regis. Regis, I want to ask you the same question I asked Frank Stea on our show earlier. Do you think Kaepernick will play again in the NFL?
Kaepernick, probably not. Yeah, I probably don't think so. You know, yeah, I don't think he'll play again in the NFL, bro. They already you know, blackballed him and did whatever they had to do. You know, the nation, the country is in some tension right now. So now I don't think so. I don't think he'll play again unless somebody pulls some big strings and stuff. But I mean, I don't see it. I don't think so.
So knowing all that's going on in this world, and man, this whole world right now, this epidemic, it's like a whole boxing match. Everybody's up against the ropes, man. But you yourself, you seem to, actually you made another career move. I'm not going to get into it personally, but you made another move. You seem to stay positive. You seem to stay fight ready. What's a life like Regis now with this whole world in chaos? Has it really set you back on being who you truly are, a very adventurous, very ongoing person, or are you more precautious now?
I mean, it's kind of both. It's you know, I'm still adventurous and stuff like that, but right now a lot of stuff is shut down. We can't really travel. I can't travel like I want to. You know, usually when I'm not training camp, after fights and stuff, I usually travel out the country. I do all kinds of stuff. You can't even travel. I don't think it's a travel. I think it's a travel ban right now. I think I probably could go to Mexico or something like that. But yeah, you can't really do that. And right now, bro, I'm just trying to stay out the way. You know, it's no sides or nothing like that. I'm just trying to stay out the way, bro, and just do my thing and just build my family and stuff right now until all this stuff is settled, basically. You know, because we still got all. You know, we still got like all the protests and stuff going on, and then we got coronavirus going on. So it's just a lot of shit that's going on right now in the world, bro. And I mean, I kind of don't want to be a part of none of that. You know, like what my part is, you know, as far as like the black people and stuff. You know, people don't know I'm Creole, but I'm considered black. So what I do is my help. What I do is I try to support black businesses. You know, that's the thing I can do. But I'm not gonna go out there to protest and stuff. I'm at first I wasn't scared of coronavirus, but now I'm kind of scared of coronavirus because you can't fight. I'm not scared to die, nothing like that, or be sick from it. But I'm scared to where like they tell me I can't fight. Yeah. So I actually know somebody, you know, that Michaela Myers. She was training in our gym in Houston, and you know she couldn't fight. She had an antibody and she couldn't fight. So I'm kind of scared of that, so I don't want to be around a lot of people right now. So I'm kind of just staying out the way.
Well, that's a very smart move, man. It's a responsibility. You're a father, you're a husband, and you're making the moves that need to be made. And those are smart moves, man. I got to ask you this, man, before I let you go, Regis. If that title fight doesn't come about, and you know, you get a crazy offer from one of the champions at 147, will you consider making that move up to 147 if there is a bout at stake?
It depends. It depends on who in the money. Of course, you know, money always is probably, you know, between me. For me, it's the belts and the money. That's the biggest factors, you know. So it depends on the person in the money, you know, what you know, the title and stuff like that for the title and stuff. So that's always the biggest factor. So no telling. I don't know yet.
You know, Regis, a little while ago, our guy, he was multitasking. He was actually working a top rank event, Stea, and also a guest here on the Fighter's Voice. I'm surprised you're not watching Top Rank Boxing unless you're watching a screen right now.
Nah, bro, I'm actually on the way back to Houston right now. I was in New Orleans for the weekend, so I'm on the way back to Houston right now. But no, I'm not. I ain't watching nothing right now.
Well, I tell you this, man, and take me up on this. Thursday, if you have time, ESPN, a young undefeated prospect, Gabriel Flores Jr., man. Make sure you tune in, watch the fight, and then I'm going to call you later, or I'll text you, and I'll ask you, what's your take on this young guy? He's from about an hour away from us, Stockton, California, area code 209, and, you know, he's putting work in. Oh, you know Stockton?
Right, all right. I know, yeah, of course. I know, I'm cool with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz from Stockton.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm cool with Nate. So, yeah, I know about Stockton and stuff like that. So, all right, that's cool. I'll try to watch, bro. If I ain't doing nothing, I'll try to watch it.
Okay, yeah, it's Gabriel Flores Jr. Hey, anything you want to leave with all the followers, fans, and supporters who watch Regis Prograis?
Nothing, bro. Everybody be safe. Have a good night, man. And that's it. I don't got nothing to say, you know. That's it, man. Y'all be safe. Have a good one.
All right, Regis, I appreciate your time, man. And, yeah, be safe. Bro. And let me know. Keep sending me those videos, man. And appreciate you rocking the Fighter's Voice gear. Thank you, man.
All right, bro. No problem.
All right. Talk to you later. Well, we lost Frank, but I'm going to give him a call because, in all fairness, he was multitasking, and the main event was about to start. We got 3 minutes left in the show, and I want to give him at least a proper goodbye. He may be walking in the ring. And if you're watching ESPN, you'd probably see him on TV. Yeah, the man's busy. As like he said, he is in a bubble. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I covered all your questions and your topics because I was getting text messages, and I try to cover them as best I can. And, you know, when I spoke to Regis earlier today, he said, Rich, I got to come on. I got to drop some news, man. And, you know, he seems to calm down just a bit, but he made it apparent, hey, I'm after that bout only. I'm looking at Josh Taylor. I'm looking at Jose Ramirez. I asked him the question, will you consider moving up to 147 pounds if the bout was at stake? And he said, well, the bout in the money of the purse was okay, then he would consider moving up to 147. Maurice Hooker, we wish you well in your training camp. I hope you make the adjustment on whatever weight you want to fight at, 140, 143, or 147s. We watch and support Maurice Hooker as well. I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, this Thursday, this young signing, this lion, this young prospect, Gabriel Flores Jr., no longer in Stockton, California. That's his hometown. He now resides in Las Vegas, Nevada. Signed with Jay Prince, new management company for him, but a management company that has the likes of Andre Ward. They've worked hand in hand with Floyd Money Mayweather, and basically they work with millionaires only and everybody in boxing or in rap music that's very successful. Being that said, all eyes are going to be on Gabriel Flores Jr. His dad said, hey, give us just over a year and he will fight for a strap. And tomorrow's going to be that first, Thursday's going to be that first jump in that journey, in that prophecy that his dad let everybody know. Hey, as always, it's fun. We're making it happen. Hey, man. And those of you who are sending me the prayers, I appreciate that. I had a knee surgery, knee replacement. I'll be back here tomorrow with ESCOVEDO. We have with us Eric Hernandez with a dog boxer gear. It's going to be a great show. ESCOVEDO, my co-host with the most, the UFC veteran. and bring those questions, man. And I hope we covered everything for you guys. We always want to give you the best topics, the best talk, and ladies and gentlemen, the best real show here on The Fighter's Voice. It's a wrap here in Fresno, California. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember,
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.